Hello everyone, DM Gashbad, and we are back for game number 2 of our Isle of Valgonda Warhammer Fantasy 8th Edition Escalation campaign. This is the first round, and we are playing the treasure scenario. In that scenario, we're going to have 3 treasure tokens on a 4x4 board, and a character who ends his movement phase within an inch of them will collect a treasure item. Now, if it's the first one they've collected, they are going to pick up a magic item, a 20-point magic item that they can then use for the rest of the campaign. If they've already done that, then they're just going to get 50 victory points. And a prestige point, which is a special point that you earn for doing various things in this campaign, and you get to spend those as points in the big multiplayer Triumph and Treachery battle at the very end of the campaign. We are starting at 500 points, and I'm using my fledgling Empire force, Go Humans. And so this is those guys right there. So because the campaign works this way, you get free magic items in the first round. That's why I have 2 characters in this small warband. On the right, we have my general, that's Captain Khurgee. He is a captain of the Empire with absolutely nothing. I couldn't afford to give him anything because I was also going to fit in that second character. But in the first round, he did go and pick up a Sword of Might, so he's got +1 strength with his magic sword. To his left, we have Gerum Macroth. Gerum Macroth is a warrior priest, also couldn't give him any equipment, but in his first game, he picked himself up a Sword of Battle, so he gets +1 attack. And between them, that's my painted treasure token. So again, we have little hobby goals for this campaign. One of them is to paint up a treasure token, and so I get little prestige points, which will help me out in the final battle. Anyway, as for the rest of my force, behind them are the Ruddy Reavers. Those are 20 swordsmen with full command. To the right, we have the Riding Roughshods. Those are 5 inner circle knights with lances, full plate armor, barded war horses, shields, the whole 9 yards. No command, though. And to the left, we have my 2 detachments for the swordsmen. In the back, we have the West Watch. Those are 5 handgunners. And in front of them are the Angry Mob, which is 5 free company. And my opponent for this round, oh, you guys are in for a treat. We have the Demons of Chaos. It is nice that my opponent is using Slaanesh demons for this campaign, because I think anything else would have been really, really brutal. I don't mind playing against Demons of Chaos, but I will say this. If I were to change 8th edition, if I got the chance to make 9th edition or to revise something like 9th Age or whatever it is that they're planning to do with this new announcement, Games Workshop says that in like 2 to 3 to 4 years they're going to come out with a new Warhammer Fantasy. Anyway, if you asked me what I would change, I would only do 2 things. I would go into the Warriors of Chaos book, and I would just take the page about the Demon Prince of Chaos, and I'd just take it out. I'd just tear it out and remove it. And that's change number 1. And the second thing is I'd go into the Demons of Chaos book, and I'd take the Reign of Chaos rule. That's the rule where every magic phase, every demon magic phase, when they roll for winds of magic, something terrible happens. Usually terrible for the opponent, but sometimes bad for the demon player as well. And I'd remove that too, because I really dislike that rule. And I'd happily play Warhammer 8th edition for the rest of my life, because I think it's fine. For the most part, obviously there are little things that you could argue about or whatever, but those are the 2 things that kind of get me. So anyway, for this campaign, half my games are going to be played with this Reign of Chaos table, which is not that much fun, but again, it could be much, much worse. But for his general, he has a Herald of Slaanesh, who is a level 1 wizard with the Phantasmagoria spell, I believe. Accompanying him, her, it are 11 demonettes with full command and the Banner of Swiftness. Then off to the left we have a smaller unit of 10 demonettes with no command. And then finally we have 5 Seekers of Slaanesh. I don't know why they changed their name from Pleasure Seekers. I thought that was a better name, but they're Seekers of Slaanesh now. Here is the game board all set up. So one of the treasure markers has to go in the exact center of the table. My treasure marker I get to place, and I put it way far on the left-hand side because I figured I had the numbers, I could go and get that if I wanted to, and my opponent had fewer units to just throw away, so he might have more difficulty. For his part, he actually put his treasure marker right next to the treasure marker in the center of the forest. So there's 2 right there in the center, and this is going to come up, but I think it was a pretty good plan on his part. He also put a big mysterious forest right in the center of the table. I placed that building off to my deployment zone's right. I had a lot of infantry, and building shenanigans can kind of help out an Empire force from time to time, I think. And then we put a couple of fences, those hedges, here and there. So this is our deployment. We're doing a bit of a mirror yin-yang kind of thing. We put our most powerful units right in the middle, so those are my swordsmen with both characters, the Warrior Priest and the Captain of the Empire, right in the center there. Directly opposite them, he's got his big units of fast demonettes with his herald, facing those down. Off to the left, he has his regular demonettes, and then of course his Seekers of Slaanesh off to the right. So his fast stuff is off to the right. I put my fast stuff off to the left, so the knights are over there. In between the knights and the swordsmen are my Angry Mob Free Company, and over by the building are my one ranged attack unit, and those are the 5 handgunners. So before the game starts, the Seekers are going to go ahead and vanguard up the right-hand flank. So now the game starts, and we roll first turn, and I get the first turn, so I go ahead and take that. I go and advance fairly aggressively. I'm feeling pretty confident against those demonettes. I think my guys can take care of them, so I'm gonna move up. The knights are showing no fear. I want to move them up fairly aggressively. I want to get a charge off with those guys, and the swordsmen are just going to hang out at the edge of that forest. If the Seekers want to charge them, that's absolutely fine. And if the main Demonette unit wants to go and claim those 2 treasure tokens, then they can go ahead and do that, but they're going to risk a charge from my big swordsman units. Granted, we're going to be fighting in a forest, so I'm not going to have steadfast, but with 2 characters, I'm probably going to be okay, and it'll give him something to think about. You know, he can't just go and grab them and not have to worry about me charging him. The Free Company move up to do a support charge if they can, and the handgunners stand still. The handgunners I had a choice on. I could have jumped them into the building and been pretty safe against those Seekers, but it would have taken them out of the game for at least 1 turn. I'm kind of thinking that pretty soon all these guys are going to be in combat, and it's not going to matter anyway, so I decide to leave them sort of exposed and vulnerable in order to get a round of shooting off. So the magic phase comes up, the Warrior Priest probably casts a couple prayers, doesn't really matter because I'm not in combat with anything, and then I go to the shooting phase, and I'm very happy that I chose that decision, because the handgunners go in and do me proud. They kill 2 of those Seekers of Slaanesh. Bang, bang, bang. And so 2 of those guys are gone. I've almost paid for that detachment as it is, so yeah, they can go and get run over now. That's fine. They've done their job. Sure enough, it is my opponent's turn, and first thing that happens is the Seekers go and slam into my handgunners. That's probably the end of them. I do stand and shoot, but I don't manage to bring any more of them down. Oh well, so long guys. More irritating is over on the left. The small unit of Demonettes has charged the Knights. The Demonettes are movement 6, so they're only 1 inch slower than my Knights. So this is not terribly surprising. I think the Knights are going to be okay. It's a little dicey, but with a 1-up armor save, even though the Demonettes are armor piercing, they're probably not going to get many casualties through. And because the Knights are inner circle, they're going to be at +1 strength. Still, you know, I would have been okay if these Demonettes had failed that charge, but it was a pretty average charge range, I think. So they go ahead and pile in there. And so now in the normal moves, the big Demonette unit goes and sure enough goes straight into the middle of that forest. They are not afraid at all. This is why my opponent had put both the treasure markers there right next to each other, because I didn't realize this, but yeah, the Herald of Slaanesh can move within 1 inch of both of them and just collect them both at the same time. So that Herald goes and collects the Sword of Might, so now that's a lot of attacks at strength 5 at a very high weapon skill, so that Herald got real scary real fast, and then goes and collects a prestige point and another 50 victory points. And we found out that the forest is a venom thicket. The Demonettes don't lose any of their number by running through there. You know, the poison spiders don't like the taste of Demonettes, so they're perfectly safe. But yeah, they're definitely tempting a big charge from my most powerful unit, and I've got to decide if running in there through all the poison, granted I'll get poisoned attacks, which will be kind of fun, but I got to decide whether or not I think it's worth it. In the Magic phase, I believe the Demonic player went and rolled a 4 for the Reign of Chaos table, which, 2 things. First off, bad news, really the worst time you could have rolled this. It means that all the demons get a -1 on their ward save. Second off, I'm not even sure if he gets off the Phantasmagoria spell. It's a low amount of dice, so I may have gone and dispelled it. In any event, no matter what happens, whether he went and cast the spell and I just passed my leadership tests, or he didn't cast it all, the spell doesn't have any effect for the battle. So real bad wins the Magic phase this round. In the hand-to-hand combat phase, yeah, sure enough, the Seekers go and kill 2 of my handgunners. They force the rest to break and flee, so they're taken off. Again, I didn't have them within 3 inches of the parent unit, so they weren't steadfast. But the Seekers decide not to pursue. They're not going to run those guys down. So they're happy about that, but the Seekers go and reform and face the flank of my swordsmen. Unfortunately, things also don't go well over with the Knights. So the Knights manage to go and fail 2 of those 2+ armor saves, so I lose 2 Knights just right off the bat. I strike back and I think I do okay. I manage to kill off 2 of the Demonettes. But that means that the Demonettes have won the combat. I do manage to pass my 6 or less break test, which is fantastic. But again, the Knights aren't really showing their mettle in these first couple of games. So it is my turn, and yeah, I'm going to go for it. So the swordsmen, not afraid of those Demonettes. We're going to pile into that major unit. We're going to have a big fight in the woods, see how this turns out. The Free Company decided that they would just be free combat res to those Demonettes, so they are just going to reform and face the Seekers. I get kind of lucky, and only one of my swordsmen goes and dies in the Venom Thicket. I may have had the 5-up ward save from my last magic phase still active on these guys, which may have kept a couple of them safe. And the handgunners have come to the conclusion that this is all way too scary, so they're going to keep on running. It is my magic phase, and my Warrior Priest, Gerum, does manage to cast Soulfire. So Soulfire gives all my guys flaming attacks, which isn't going to matter in this case, but it also causes a Strength 5 hit to any demons or undead who are in base contact with him. It would normally be a Strength 4, but demons, undead, you know, Sigmar really hates those guys. And guess who I'm fighting through this whole campaign? I'm going to be fighting demons and undead, so that works out. Anyway, I'm going to go and kill off the champion of the Demonette unit and one more of the Demonettes, so that was a really good spell. I probably also managed to cast the 5-up ward save spell, and my opponent dispels the one that allows me to reroll rolls to wound. You'll have to forgive me on some of this stuff. This game happened a long time ago, and I don't take notes about everything, so I'm kind of guessing on this, but I think that's what happened. So my handgunners are running away, so we skip the shooting phase and go on straight into the hand-to-hand combat phase. So we go to the knight combat first, and the Demonettes kill one more knight, fail another armor save. The knights go and kill one more Demonette, but come on, guys, get with the program. That means we tie the combat, nobody goes anywhere, but still, I was hoping for a little bit better. But the swordsmen are absolutely here to pick up the slack. So, because I killed off the champion in the Demonette unit with the Soulfire spell, I now get to challenge with my swordsman duelist champion guy, and he has to accept with his herald. So, the Herald of Slaanesh quickly chops up my swordsman champion, but only manages to do 1 wound, so no overkill bonus on that. Most of the rest of my opponent's attacks are directed at the Warrior Priest, who does manage to survive. He does take a wound, but he is still in there. And in return, all my Poison Swordsmen and my Captain of the Empire and my Warrior Priest himself go and kill off 5 of the Demonettes. So, with the casualties, the charge, the standards, the ranks, and all that, I managed to get exactly what I need for my opponent to fail his instability test and have all the rest of the wounds on that Demonette unit go away. So, kapow! That is my opponent's strongest unit. That is his general. That is his magic phase. This has been one of those games where you get a big decisive combat really early in the game, and the Empire are looking like they are coming out ahead. So now I'm feeling real good about that. That could have gone the other way really fast, but it all sort of came together, and so now I'm feeling like I'm in the driver's seat. So all that happens is my swordsmen are just going to reform back the way they were coming from, and they're going to look at those Seekers. So it's the Demon's turn again, and sure enough, the Seekers are going to go and charge straight into my swordsman unit. Very mad about having their general killed like that. But it does allow me to use a countercharge with my Free Company. So the Seekers go in, and because I'm within like 3 inches of the swordsman, I get to declare a countercharge. The Free Company are actually in the rear arc of the Seekers, so they are going to charge the rear, and that is probably going to be the end of those demons. I also believe that in this magic phase, he managed to roll a double 6 for the Winds of Magic, which means that he would get a free unit of demons. But like a complete gentleman, I believe my opponent declined to place any units there because the rules say you have to have the models to represent them, and he didn't bring any extras to show up on the battlefield, which is absolutely a class act way of doing things. When I was playing my vampire accounts, if I summoned a bunch more zombies than I had zombies, I just used these Empire troops and said they were freshly raised corpses. He's got dozens of plague bearers at home. He could easily have brought any number of those, but he didn't, so true gentleman gamer there. So in the close combat phase, the Knights and Demonettes fail to do anything to each other. You know what? I think it's kind of an improvement. Good job, Knights. In the swordsman combat, yeah, the Demonettes go and make another assassin run on my Warrior Priest. They really do not like devotees of other gods, I guess. Yeah, they do manage to go and kill off poor Gerum, but then the Demonettes are completely wiped out in return, and both the Free Company and the swordsman go to face the last remaining demon unit over on the left. So it is the Empire turn again, and now the swordsmen go and charge the flank of the Demonettes, and the Free Company are feeling kind of brave, and they go and charge in there as well. Unfortunately, 4 of my swordsmen go and die to the Venom Thicket. They are much tastier than the Demonettes, and all the little spiders and snakes crawl out to eat 4 of those guys. My Warrior Priest is dead, my handgunners failed to rally and ran off the board, so we are straight on to the hand-to-hand combat phase. My captain makes way so that he's in contact with that rear rank of Demonettes, and between all of our attacks, we managed to kill off 4 of those guys. Their return attacks don't do a whole lot. They killed off 1 Free Company, but they've lost the combat really bad, but they go and roll a double 1 for their instability test, which means that everybody that they lost in this phase right here comes straight back. So we are right back where we started from. So that's kind of a bummer. I don't think it's going to change the outcome of this game, though. It would have been horrendous if that had happened in the big combat in the forest in the very beginning. That probably would have spelled my doom right away. But in this, it's going to delay everything, but I don't think it's going to. I think the outcome is still going to be the same. It just means we got to work a little bit harder. So it's on to the demon turn. Again, nothing terrible happens in the Reign of Chaos phase, and so we go straight on to hand-to-hand combat. My guys don't take any casualties, which is fantastic, and after the attacks and the instability test, the Demonettes go and lose 3 of their number. So we're working our way back down. So that was my opponent's turn, and things didn't go great, and so now it's my turn, and we go straight to hand-to-hand combat, and for me, things don't go great. We don't kill any Demonettes at all, not for the attacks, not for instability or anything like that. The Demonettes managed to kill off 1 of my swordsmen. Now, it's important to note that I have found out that my opponent seems to like assassinating my poor heroes, so I have not moved my Captain of the Empire into the fighting rank for the last 2 combat rounds, because I think it's really possible, since he's got like just light armor and that's no help at all against Demonettes, that my opponent will go and pick that guy off if he has the opportunity. So he's just going to stay there and try and lend his leadership to the rest of the group. But we're back around again to the demon turn. Again, the Reign of Chaos table doesn't do anything terribly awful, and we go into the combat phase. So last round was a little bit disappointing, so Captain Khurgee has decided if you want something done, you got to go and do it yourself. So he actually goes and moves into the fighting rank, and that does the trick. The Demonettes actually do not want to, now that there's so few of them. They don't want to go and attack Captain Khurgee. They really want to go and kill off my farmers. I guess they're going to try and starve me to death. Anyway, 2 of the Free Company die, but I managed to kill off 3 Demonettes myself, and after instability, all the rest of them go away. So that is it. Hey, I was really happy about that. The demons are one of those armies that I kind of dread to fight. But again, the opponent was nice that he took the demons of Slaanesh, and being a real champ with the whole not summoning a whole unit kind of helped me too. Anyway, we got into a big fight, and I think one-on-one my units do pretty well against demons at these low point values. It's a little bit shaky, but in the end we managed to come out ahead, just barely wiping out the big unit in that first combat. And the knights, they didn't really accomplish a whole lot, but they did stay there. They didn't all die, so that was nice. The knights aren't providing a whole lot, but at least they're able to go back to their mountain keep and report back on the guys that got killed on their expedition. So they're still around to carry the banner, if they had a banner, in the next game. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, that kind of thing, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you on the next one.